Hello, my name is Jupiter Fettler, and today I'm here to talk to you guys about solar energy. More than anything else, I'm going to be explaining the many benefits that solar energy can offer to residential homes across America. So, what is solar energy? Solar energy is a process of harvesting sunlight from the sun and turning it into electricity. This is great for a number of reasons. The first being that the sun isn't expected to stop sending sunlight down for at least the next few billion years. On top of this, the process of converting sunlight into electricity creates zero emissions. When compared to how we get our electricity now, this sounds like a beautiful step in the right direction. To go even farther, the energy the sun gives us in only 1 hour is roughly the same amount of energy used by every single person in the world in only 1 year. One can hopefully start to see just how beneficial this energy source can be. Solar panels are made up of what are called solar cells. A solar cell can be broken up into three different parts: the P type, the N type, and finally the depletion zone. The P and N type layers are made up of silicon, although they both have different elements added to them for different purposes. The P type layer contains boron. This element has one less electron than silicon. This creates a positive charge due to the missing electrons. The positive charge that is created by the missing electrons also produces what are called holes, or the absence of electrons. The N-type layer contains the element phosphorus, which has more electrons than silicon. These extra electrons create a negative charge where electrons are free to move. So when the sunlight hits these solar cells, it has just enough power to reach the depletion zone made up of silicon. This effectively knocks an electron out, creating a free moving electron and a hole. The electron makes its way up to the N-type layer, whereas the hole makes its way down to the P-type layer. By then connecting a conductor from the N layer to the P layer allows for electrons to move towards the holes in the bottom. This effectively creates an electrical current and is how solar energy is created. When I first started my research, I realized I didn't really know where my electricity came from or what process happened to produce it. At the very base of the creation of electricity is the burning of fossil fuels. This action then emits carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide into the atmosphere. These are two greenhouse gases that, when emitted in excess, can increase the air temperature worldwide. In other words, it's contributing to global warming. In the United States, around 20% of all greenhouse emissions come from residential energy. This is a statistic that we, the people, can control and hopefully reduce significantly. If all of this wasn't enough to push homeowners to reconsider how their energy is supplied, the misleading business tactics of ExxonMobil should. The Gazette recently interviewed two scientists, Geoffrey Supran, a research fellow in the history of science, and Naomi Oreskes, professor of the history of science, about the misleading communication used by ExxonMobil in attempts to hide global warming. The Gazette asked the two, "So according to your findings, within the walls of ExxonMobil, there was never any doubt about climate science, is that right?" In which they responded with, "Right. There was never the undue doubt that they promoted in public. In fact, behind closed doors and in academic circles, Exxon has known that its products would likely cause dangerous global warming since at least the 1970s. By way of its trade association, American Petroleum Institute, the oil industry as a whole has been on notice even longer, since the 1950s. The article goes on to explain how the company has used selective language when discussing the issue to avoid concern from the public. The fact that big oil companies have been aware of what their product is doing, yet no drastic changes have been made, should be alarming to anyone who hears it. They clearly do not have the interests of the people, the environment, and future generations in mind. The only concern that seems to cross their mind is how to continue to make money. Luckily, there is a way to fight back against these big oil companies. One of the most productive ways is with money, the one thing they really care about. This process is called dollar voting. In other words, it means to put your hard earned money into the hands of those who actively fight for what you believe. By paying for solar panels, you are effectively showing the big oil companies where your values are. So if someone was to change to solar energy, what would that look like? Well, the average United States household uses roughly around 10,500 kilowatt hours. An average solar panel can generate around 250 watt hours. Now we times that by the average number of peak sunlight hours, which here in Mass is about 4, and we get 1,000 watt hours, or 1 kilowatt hour in a day. We can multiply this by the number of days in a year to find out how much energy one solar panel can generate in a year, which is around 365 kilowatt hours from a single solar panel. If the homeowner wanted to cover their yearly electricity bill with solar panels, then simply divide 10,500 kilowatt hours by 365 kilowatt hours to reveal that they need 30 panels. Now, this might seem like a lot of money, but there are incentives to help customers put their money in the right hands. Right now, there is a 26% tax credit for those who get solar panels installed between the years of 2020 to 2022. This is the government's way of pushing homeowners away from fossil fuels and towards a better, safer, and cleaner future. So you know you want solar panels, but don't know where to put them. Well, luckily there are a few different solutions for this. The first is the simple answer of putting them on your existing roof. This method gets great sun and puts the solar panels out of sight and out of mind. The second solution is to get ground-mounted solar panels. This is a good choice if your house is surrounded by trees, so putting them on your roof might not be the best for the sun. Lastly, there are some smarter but less practical ways to implement solar panels into your house. This comes in the form of solar panel carports. This acts the same way as a carport, meaning it gives your car covering, although the roof is made out of solar panels. The point here is that there are more than one way of implementing solar panels into your home that isn't simply just putting them on your roof. My hope is that one day we will reach a point where renewable energy is the only energy. Thank you for listening.